wanted to welcome you to our workshop this evening. We wanted to let you know we're recording this evening's workshop, but it's going to be recorded on speaker mode. If you don't want to appear at all, you can black out your camera. And we have closed captioning available by clicking the CC button at the bottom of your screen. And in a few moments, I'll go over some community guidelines. My name is Wendy Johnson. I'm the current Vice President of the new West Hospice Society and one of its founding members. I'd like to welcome you to the Compassion Project, Dance to the End of Love. It's the fourth project we worked on together in partnership with the new Westminster Arts Council. So along with me tonight is Stephen O'Shea, the Executive Director. And we're very excited to be working with Celeste Snowber. So to begin, I wanted to indicate that the Arts Council of New Westminster and the New West Hospice Society acknowledges that we are located on the unceded and traditional territory of the Coast Salish peoples, specifically the Kakite Nation. And we have some community guidelines I wanted to share with you, so I'll go over those now. There will be zero tolerance for those who promote discrimination or harm against others. You need to respect the opinion of others. Don't assume pronouns, gender, knowledge based on someone's name or video image. And please be as present as possible, but if you need to get up and take a break, please feel free to do so. We also want to welcome questions, so please put those in the chat throughout the session. We'll be collecting those for the Q&A section at the end. Wanted to take a few moments, although most of you know her. She's someone I think we all know very well. Celeste Snowber is a dancer, poet, writer, and award-winning educator. She's a professor in the Faculty of Education at Simon Fraser University. She interweaves multidisciplinary forms in her performance and published work. Attention to embodied ways of inquiry has been central to her scholarly and artistic work for over 2 decades. She's the author of Embodied Inquiry, Writing, Living, and Being Through the Body, as well as 3 collections of poetry. She creates site-specific performances of dance and poetry in the natural world. So we'd like to now turn things over to Celeste, who's going to give you an amazing workshop.
Okay, thank you so much, Wendy, and thank you, Stephen. I just have a quick question, tech question. If I put mine on gallery view, do you still get recorded in speaker view?
No, it'll just be my recording in speaker view.
Oh, okay, so I can put it on gallery view and it's fine, so I can see everyone.
That's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, great. Okay, so Wendy and Stephen approached me about this project, we're calling Dance to the End of Love, the Compassion Project. I was very excited that they wanted to integrate movement and dance as part of a way for the community to come out of COVID, although we're still in COVID, or to live through COVID in a place to express our grief and also levity. And so I was very happy to come along. And as many of you, I guess I actually know all of you here. So I've been exploring dancing all throughout COVID in little small places in my neighborhoods. And that really has been a way to express, a way to listen to creation and a way to express my own both resilience and struggle. And so I'm really encouraging others to take this up. And now you have to take this up to go and dance in place and create and in really small pieces. So it has to be like under a minute. That would have to include you too, Gregory, just because you're a professional videographer, you still have to dance. So I would really encourage you that this evening is very short, but hopefully we can have a little taste. It can be a way that we can encourage this work. So I feel like I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but I just wanted to go over a couple of things that I think we always have to remind ourselves, is that when we're working in place, it's not so much that we're taking a dance or a movement and then going to that place like a stage. It is about being in place and listening with all of our beings, our body, mind, spirit, soul, cognition, intuition. And it's by being there through our bodies that we listen and see what arrives. So it's not so much that here I am, I'm going to do this gesture, I'm going to do this dance, and I'm going down to the new Westminster key and do it. But it is about listening, walking. And this practice that I've been doing for years is about walking and listening and moving. And walking never has been enough. I had to move. Why is it everyone moving and dancing all over the place? What is wrong with people? I don't understand it. But when you really listen to creation, the wind and the rain and the difficulty of our inner terrain and our outer terrain, how can we not move? And so this really is a practice that I'm encouraging people to do as a practice, and then to see what arrives out of that, and then share in video a small piece of movement out of that. I want us also to really think about this relationship between the inner landscape and the outer landscape. And we'll do something with this pragmatically tonight in movement. But it's also what all of the terrain inside of us, and particularly in COVID, the COVID is like having an inner hormonal thing going on all the time. It is not an easy place for anyone and for any of us. We either have parents we're taking care of, or kids, or we're working on Zoom, or Zoom is working on us, and it's not easy for many layers. And so I think that we're all kind of in a heightened sensitivity, a heightened place, that we need both nurturing ourselves, but also an expression and a form in order to contain the difficulty. And even in that difficulty, there's always small beauties that we can harvest. So this is really about harvesting small beauties. It's about having tea with your curiosity. I'm going to share with you a couple of small pieces, but you might have some of you already seen it, but I'll just share them anyways, because that's what I was going to do. These are just small little pieces, are 1 minute each. And one has more levity and one has more gravity. So let me just share my screen. I can share my screen, correct? Yes. Okay, so this one is called, this one is in my neighborhood, well, close to my neighborhood. It's called Lost Lips of Listening. And often the words come out of the movement. Can you all see that? Can someone just say yes or nay?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this is just a minute long. Lips of listening. Come to your body, see of your own yearning. Commune at its shore. At the edge of silt and skin, starting at the clavicle, touching fingers to sky, is a sentence to behold. A new syllable, a nascent gesture, lost lips of listening, soma stories in the wind. All in a day's curiosity, clamshells, driftwood, and wild rose. Let fragility be known. Embrace your belly, learn which steps to take. So that piece was done at Barnett Marine Park. It's where I walk all the time, and I particularly walk there a lot in the last year and a half. And so there's just places that call to me that I felt I had to move in. And so that's what I'm encouraging you to do, is as you walk, wherever you are in place, is how you can move. And it doesn't have to be in the landscape. It could be, it just could be just like in your kitchen. And so I'm going to show you just a piece of one that just happened in my kitchen as well, because you know, the kitchen is really a place for dancing too. Yeah, so that one actually goes over more than a minute, but you know, and these are not, you know, super planned choreographed dances that I've spent like, you know, 17 weeks on. They really are improvisations. They're incredibly low tech in terms of you know, the camera work and video, and you know, they're just with my iPhone, although that was my son singing opera, and so he is not low tech at all, but you know, that I have to say that my son Micah singing opera, so I could weave him in there. So those are just two examples, and you will have your own examples. And the beauty of this work is we each have our own stories and movement, which is absolutely exquisite because it's yours and no one can do what you can do. So we're gonna have a little warm up and just a movement, and we'll have a little movement sentence, and we'll just have a little movement workshop. If you want to turn off your camera, you can. But what I would encourage you to do is to take wherever you are to move the furniture. So I'm going to move my chair over here. And of course, you could try to do this on a chair, but it might be a little more difficult. I don't know. Do you all have some room to move? No, you don't have any, you have no room to move.
Not where I'm sitting. Not where I'm sitting. I have a whole studio over there, but right here I have no space.
Okay, so well, then we'll do wherever you are, you can modify it. So if you just have a small space, you can
move my head.
Move in your small space, okay? So I'm just gonna you can modify it. We can always modify everything. So I'm just gonna warm us up. Oh, wait a minute. Let me share my.
Okay, we're good.
Just give me a second here, because I'm just weaving. I'm just trying to do this through the here. For some reason, it's not. There we go. Thank you, Zoom. Okay, let me just get some music up here. Okay, so here's a little sound check. Can you hear me over the music?
Yep.
Can you hear the music?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so you're gonna take a big stretch and a big sigh, and yeah, just serve all the people in your house. And another big stretch.
Come un fatto divertente, così come un numero vincente, parole di canzoni che non sai.
Warm them up one way. That's it. Perfect. And then the other way. Excellent. Yeah. Just feel all that. Yeah.
Come un
And just
viaggio da
give yourself a little body percussion.
così come un gaio girasole.
Down your leg.
qualche volta
And your
utile.
thymus, find your thymus gland here and just wake that up.
Così come un florido giardino,
Give your head a little
così come
massage.
l'oro del mattino.
First, you wash your
Parole
hands
di
on your bathroom, right?
canzoni
Yeah.
che
And your
non
ears, cleanse your
sai.
ears like you.
Na
Yeah,
na
all
na
those
na.
pressure points. Yes,
Whoa.
excellent.
Whoa.
Yes. This is what we should be doing on the
Na,
side.
na,
Moving
na,
our
na.
ears. Yes. Okay.
Whoa.
So shake up one hand. Shake up the other one. Shake up your
Così come
leg.
il primo giorno a
Up your
scuola,
leg. And shake up your whole
così
body.
come
Just
una
shake it out.
barchetta a
Shake it out.
vela. Peccato che
Take out your
soffrivi
voice.
il mal di
However you
mare.
want to. Shake all that out.
Così
Yeah.
come un
Excellent.
porto ormai sicuro,
Rock.
così come muore il
Give
desiderio.
yourself a
E
hug.
parole di canzoni che non
Your hands up.
sai.
Stretch out
Na
to the
na
side.
na na.
Stretch out to the
Whoa.
earth.
Whoa.
Side.
Na 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 na.
A
Whoa.
little swaying. Letting your
Na
body.
na na.
Now just take a little walk around your room or even the small space and all the places you can walk to, wherever you are. Explore that space.
E così come pioggia sopra i tetti,
Explore the
così come
ground.
un piatto di spaghetti, così
out.
buoni
If you have
non
a
mi
window, reach out to the
vengono
sky.
più. Così come un
Excellent.
rinnovato invito,
So,
così come un quadro mai finito,
Find one
e
hand.
parole di canzoni che
Bring it
non
into the camera.
sai.
do hand dance. Hand dance with everyone. You can sign this. Yeah. Play with moving it out and in. Bring in your other hand. Play with the rhythm. Find someone else to dance with. You won't know who it is because we don't know what we're doing on Zoom. You can just play with that. So you're actually dancing with everyone all at the same time. Keep moving and breathing as I change the music. So shake all that out. So I want you to go and find a shape, any shape there is. Find another shape. We're just gonna move around and play
I am
with lightning and
resilient.
stay in
I
your
trust
shape.
the
And then
movement.
moving into
I
another
negate
shape.
the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh.
Now I want you to have a 1 minute dance for yourself. Just listen to the music and just this is just for you.
Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. These times are poignant. The winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point. Power to the
Make sure
peaceful.
you're breathing. Let
Prayers
your
to
breath
the
hold your
water.
breath.
Women at the center.
Bring your hips
All
and your
vessels
pelvis.
open
On
to
your
give
belly.
and receive.
Your sternum.
Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh.
Pumping your face, pumping your focus.
Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Find a place. Just bring it
Ooh,
slow.
I'm made of
And take a breath, take a deep breath. Ah. Okay, well, this is just a small little warm up, but hopefully you got the juices in your body going. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to find some gesture, a gesture that could even be just like for 5 seconds that equals where you are in this moment. So not a gesture like a moving gesture. So it's kind of like a small movement syllable. So say if I don't think too hard. So I'm doing this. Okay? Just very small. Okay? So that's what I want you to first do. Just going to give you a moment to do that and to find that. Just one gesture for wherever you are. Okay, excellent. So you can repeat it. Can you repeat it? So repeat it a couple times so you know what it is. Okay, so this is just your best. So this is like your internal gesture wherever you are in the moment. Now I want you to take that gesture and then how do you move from that gesture in place to extending it to either another part of the room or like I can see a window in front of me. So I would take my gesture and I would. So I'm relating first, I'm coming from the inside and then I'm relating to where I am in place. So you can go to another part of your room and do this. So basically you're taking your one syllable and then adding it on to extending it in place, either out to the window, out to another part of your room. So your room becomes your whole studio. Yeah, so just do that again and play with that for a minute.
You'll see the options showing up in the corner of your picture. Okay, so up into the corner.
Yeah.
So there.
Somebody isn't muted, so I don't know what that someone else is.
Yeah.
Once. Okay, and
Keep going, keep moving. So I'm going to put some music on and I want you to just take that and repeat it while you're doing to the music and you're just having this now for yourself.
Thank you.
See where that gesture goes with the music. You all look so beautiful. It looks all so beautiful. I don't know if you can see each other out of the corner of your eye. So now I want you to do is to see as I'll put the music back on, but see if there's a word that comes up for you, a word, or it doesn't have to be like a full blown out poem. Maybe it's just, reaching now, reaching, whatever it is, just play with it. This is just playing. All we are doing is playing, okay? We are going to continue on. Okay. See what word or words arrive. I want you to continue on for one more minute, and I want you to put a pause in it, a couple of pauses as well. Where would you find your pauses, okay? If there's a pause in it, and continue on. So maybe I'm moving. Silence is just as important. Not moving is just as important as moving. Okay, so you have to do that. Come back to yourself and just really place where it pauses and just have that moment for yourself. And just have that moment in yourself. You might want to put your hand on your belly or your heart, or just have that. And just notice what is going on. And if you want, you can unmute yourself. We're a small group, so you can unmute yourself if you want, and just tell me if there's any, if you want, you don't have to, but if you want, just anything you notice, what do you notice? Any word that comes, or any other word. If you want, if you don't want to, that's fine.
Okay.
Marley.
Yeah, for me, the first word that came up was wonder.
Wonder.
And then at the end, it's pulsating with wonder.
Pulsating with wonder. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, you have a title for your video. I love it. Anyone else?
The word that came to me was freedom, and not in the horrible way that most Americans talk about freedom, but just felt free. And it was also very fun, but freedom was kind of the movement that I was feeling. Freedom,
and playing with the sound of that, like freedom.
I don't know if I was playing with the sound of it, or I just felt really free.
Great, that's lovely.
The word that came to me was share.
Share. Lovely. And you were doing it in your small space, Carolyn.
Yeah, and when I share.
Yeah, yeah.
Expansion of sharing.
It's very interesting how sometimes the limit can become the possibility. You might not normally work in a small space, but then like providing a limit for ourselves, it actually allows for an aesthetic and artistic possibility. Yeah. Anyone else?
Time. I don't know why that word, time. The word time.
Time. Nice.
I have a picture of memories with ancestors, and I just found myself reaching and holding. So it was sort of like a longing to feel the love of people who have left, and then a holding, and then sort of a giving away out the window to a more expansive place to share that love. Yeah. I've never done anything like this over Zoom, Celeste. So this is really special. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And your ancestors are coming in through Zoom. I love it. I bet they never thought they'd be coming into Zoom. So yeah, but it's really interesting how the walls, I mean, I found this in COVID, how the walls are actually part of my artistic studio, even though I'm not in a studio, but it's it's what I have. So, yes. Yeah. And the wall, and going past, boy, there's a lot of metaphor there, right? The ancestors going past. Yeah. Yeah. A lot, these are like huge universal themes coming up out of like 3 minutes of work, Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? So it's really interesting that, you know, this is called the Dance to the End of Love, the Compassion Project. And those words that are coming out of this time, to me, are all about embodying compassion, freedom, time, share, your ancestors, you know, all of the things that you're bringing to this moment. So it's like that compassion, all of that's already inside your body. And I think that the thing is that we are all really brilliant. It's just about having a practice, just about taking a practice and not being so precious. And it's not that I don't love, you know, incredibly important, solid choreographed pieces, but there's also room for us to just share. You know, creativity is our human birthright and we need to claim it back. I know that I'm talking to people that already know this. This is not like, you know, but, you know, I have to remind myself all the time. So that's just a small little exercise that you can go and you can do that in place. You can go in your backyard, you can go to the sea, you can go you can go to the mall, wherever. It's like taking what's already inside you, working from there, and then taking that and having a conversation with what is outside. And so it really is a call and response. It is a co-creation. And then if we see it that way, then we see creativity is a co-creation, a listening and responding. And really that's, to me, that's connected to all of life, whether that's prayer or whether that's creativity or dance or writing. It is this co-creation. What time, how are we doing for time? Okay. Okay. So I know this is a short workshop, so I'm going to just give you some logistics of, and which you may already have it anyways, but first, thank you so much for going along with this so fully. You're all fabulous. I just love this. So I would invite you, you probably may already have this, but to, if you want to create a dance video or movement video, to see this really more as an invitation to deepen your own movement practice, your own somatic practice. And it's more about consistency in small chunks. I still, even though all my 3 children are gone and they're millennials, I still don't seem to have any time. And of course I'm working full time, but you know, that's why you can't take forever, Cindy, to do your PhD, because I just, so it's like having, you know, you can have 15 minutes a day. You could do this, you know, for like 3 days a week. It wouldn't take a lot and you would see what would arrive. So it's about the consistency of having a movement practice. And I would encourage you, whether that's raining or sun or whatever it is, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And of course you have to, like, if you, like, you know, Greg, you said it feels free. It does not feel as free when you go out in public starting to move. But you're all creative anyway, so you're fine. But I see it as a way of disrupting this habitual way of moving. And who cares what people think? I mean, people are going to think I'm weird no matter what, so it doesn't really matter. You know, you know, they're gonna, I am. It's true. It's true. I promised myself when I was 5 years old that I wouldn't become a boring adult, and I'm still staying to it. So, you know, it will feel funny at first, like you start moving outside if no one else is around and you're just in the tree and you're just moving, and, you know, people are walking by on their cell phones and they're all like this on their cell phones. Question which somatic posture is healthy. The cell phone walking or moving outside, moving in relationship. So the practice, logistics is wonderful that the new West Media Gallery will be giving a workshop in conjunction with this, and we'll be giving you some real fabulous technical work about how to, you know, editing on your cell phone. And I'm not really fabulous with that. I'm just so low tech, or I have someone else just take me, or you can put it on a tripod, but it can be very simple. What I encourage people to do is just to do very short pieces. There's something about knowing you only have under a minute that allows you and invites you to do it. If you, because 3 minutes of dance or 5 minutes of dance actually is quite a long time. You know, it can be a long time. And that's when you start, your editor immediately put, you know, you start, it just see what happens. And plus, everybody has a short attention span these days anyways. They can't see more than a minute or a minute, and then they've lost it. Their teeth fall out if it's more than a minute. So the other thing is that you can think, you don't have to design this right away. You could just move and video, and then you can add words, and then you can add music, unless they come when you're doing it. But I think hopefully then, you know, you can, those are more technical things you can look at later. And the main thing is that this really is about opening up into our vulnerability. And I love that the new West Hospice Society is part of this, because grief, dealing with grief, is going into the terrain of our vulnerability. You know, vulnerability comes from vulnere, which means to break open. And breaking us open into those places is where the terrain of often like exquisite morsels will come, and of joy and difficulty. There's no shortage of grief in our life. There's no shortage of difficulty. It will come. I don't have to call up and ask for it. Like, oh, Google, send me some more grief. I don't have enough material. You know, it's not like, you know, it's no shortage, you know, it's no shortage of anxiety and grief and depression. I just have to be present, and it's there. And there's no shortage of incredible, exquisite beauty, of the falling red leaf, of the kid playing hopscotch, of, you know, of a gesture, of someone making, you know, a cannoli or a pasta, whatever it is. So it's vulnerability. And so here is a place that in this project, you can have both levity and gravity. It could be fun. Maybe it's just totally, who knows? Just see what happens. Like that time I just decided I'm going to dance in my kitchen, and that pasta started moving. And then, you know, and I thought, oh, I need my kids' opera music. That's what I need to dance to, you know? So, or it could be something that's very, very tender. It could be a tender place of loss that's in the rain, that the tears are coming. So allow for it all to come. I'm going to read you a poem, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So this is called Instructions for a Moving Practice. Do it daily, walking as moving, moving when walking, stopping and dancing. Let your bones write. A kinetic signature. Feel everything. Be hollowed out. In the exhale of breath, each ligament holds a truth. The primordial has muscles. In the waters of the infinite, held within your hips, rising from the earth on the belly of the sea. Here the breath is filled with creating, and you are recreated. So I really think if you engage, continue, we all engage in creative practice, we are recreated in those moments. So I'm going to open it up for Q&A, and I don't know, and you can also ask Q&A of Wendy and Stephen. Stephen is from the Arts Council, and Wendy is from the Compassion Project. But you can first ask anything about this mini workshop or process or anything. So you can unmute yourself, and if there's any questions.
Celeste, will there be technical requirements as far as what size of video you want, whether you want it?
That is such a great question. I think Christopher's on this call. Yes. I don't know. I don't know about the technical side. I just figured it's just with your iPhone. But for those of you like Carolyn and Greg, you're like professional videographers. So Christopher is from the New West Media Gallery. Hi, Chris. Nice to have you here. Do you want to address that question? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
so the whole project will be done over Instagram. So I would think Square.
Square? Okay.
Yes. So most phones actually have like
a square.
Yeah, they have like the little square option in the video. So it's kind of all set. So if you have an iPhone or an Android, just look into, recording in this square aspect ratio.
And Chris, some people have already asked that they don't use Instagram or social media, and I talked to Stephen about them about putting it into a Dropbox, and he said that would be okay as well.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine. And even when you're thinking about editing, I would probably recommend just recording your videos separately. I wouldn't use the Instagram app if you,
Yes.
you know, if you really want to be as expressive as you can. And then you can either upload it to Instagram afterwards, or we can just have the file.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for letting me put you on the spot. Any other questions?
These should be just 1 minute exactly, or just under. Was that the idea?
It's an arbitrary number. I just thought it would be, it doesn't have to be just 1 minute. It could be 58 seconds or 35 seconds, or I just think that it would be nice to have some kind of continuity. And then when they all come together, and then a minute is sometimes more approachable for people.
If you want to, can I say something on this? If you want to upload it yourself on your own Instagram account, then I would do like 58 seconds, because if it's 60 seconds or even 61 seconds, you cannot personally load it on your Instagram file unless you have a professional account.
Yeah, so you'd have to, so it really, in some ways, then it really has to be under a minute, is right?
58 seconds seems
58,
to
so
upload the best.
We should change all of the, we should put 58 seconds, yes, under everything. Actually, that's true, isn't it? Right, you can't, okay, that's really a good point. You see, this is why it's so good that we have all you professionals on this call.
So for those of us with none of the above,
yes,
is there someone that's contactable in conditions of panic?
Yeah, well, Christopher is leading a workshop on the technical aspects of it. Okay. In terms of contactable, you mean like kind of like a dial a helpline?
Yeah, no, if Christopher's doing a workshop, then hopefully I can attend that, and that might solve the issues.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be the same day, same hour next week.
Yeah.
So if we're registered for this, are we registered for yours, Christopher? Or we have to register for that too?
I think it's a separate registration. It's on the same page. So the workshop next week would have been, it's like right below this one. But I think maybe it's also the same Zoom link.
Okay.
It is.
I'm not super sure.
Stephen, Wendy, do you know about that, or Stephen?
Yes, it's the same Zoom link. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, yes. But I think they do want you to register.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's important for the yeah.
And in terms of the audio, maybe Christopher, you could speak to this. Are we recording audio, or is it more the visual that we're emphasizing, or will you be talking about that next week?
Yeah, we'll probably get more into it next week, but yeah, audio I think is great. Yeah, we should definitely think about the full, we're going to really talk about filmmaking as well as like the technical aspects next week.
Yeah, because I think that would be great, because you know, to record it with audio is sometimes very, very difficult. You have to sometimes layer the audio afterwards. So I would encourage you, in terms of moving, is just to create it, to create that. And then, I mean, Christopher will address that more, but most of the time when I've had to layer the audio on top of it myself, or music on top of it. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you might not want ambient sounds of, you know, whatever that is, you know, anything, it's really, you know, anything is possible. And I would encourage everyone to do several of these, you know, to play with them and do several of them. And it's something that it shifts and changes and fine tunes as you keep doing it, right? Yeah.
Is there any issue using copywritten music, or we have permission for doing something like that? Because I know sometimes social media, they'll pull those things down when they
Yeah,
hear.
I think you have to have, I don't, maybe Chris would know, but I think you have to have copyright music. I think in the long term, I don't think they know exactly how it's going to get all, put together, but it would have to be music that was already copyright, I would think. Because
You mean
otherwise,
you mean we'd have permission for it? That's different than, I mean, all music pretty much is copywritten, but I mean, if you use it, you're supposed to have permission.
yeah, I personally don't use any music unless unless there is usually permission, or like so old, or it's a musician. Yeah, are you going to address any of that, Chris? I don't know if that's.
So as far as Instagram, like one of the reasons why Instagram and TikTok and all these platforms limit the length that you can make a video is because it is under the sample, like basically if a song is under a certain length, it's usually about 2 minutes, then there won't be, in general, like through these platforms, there won't be any like noticeable action from copyright. So that's one of the reasons why you see these things, these Vines and TikToks and all that under 2 minutes, for that reason. But usually it's also only within those platforms. So as long as these are shown within Instagram and, well, we're just going to go with Instagram, but TikTok and all that, it's fine. But outside of that, if it's going to be distributed beyond these platforms, then it might be an issue.
So if for some reason, then you took all of this work and you put it in some other viewing in some kind of a showing, it would be important that music was okay. Well, it wasn't have any issues with copyright.
Yeah, and there's like it's pretty. Well, we can go into a longer Q&A, but yeah, fidelity is also a big thing. So usually, it has to be a certain like quality. So if you're straight playing something that you've ripped off of a CD onto the thing, it'll be more of an issue than if it's just something kind of in the background with other noise happening around it.
That's why one of the reasons that I've used a lot of words on top of videos, because I don't have to deal with the music, and I can play with that or weave in ambient sounds. So there's a lot of other possibilities as well, I think, in terms of sound. You think of it as the soundscape rather than just music, right? And what the possibilities are for that.
So what
for people,
go ahead, Greg.
Okay. No, for people less technically inclined or don't want to get into editing, one thing that's really easy to do is say you have a phone with Spotify or any way to play music, and you play it out of one of those little portable speakers, and you have that like right near you where you're dancing, and then you record that. You just have to have a second phone or another device, and then you have your music and your performance, no editing, or you just cut out the beginning and the end. That's a super simple way if you want to use music and that's what you want to do. Because otherwise laying in music after, trying to synchronize that with your movement can be very tricky. So it's up to you, but if you just want to do it super simple, play it out of a boombox or something, dance to it, and you're done, kind of.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah.
That's very helpful. Thank you, Greg. And I'm thinking that it can be eclectic that way. So words as audio or music. Is there anything else that we wanted to keep sort of consistent or a flow between, or is it okay then to have it be eclectic from an audio standpoint?
I think it's okay to have it eclectic. Yeah. I mean, you never know, there might be another layer of this at some point, but I think the beginning project is more low tech in eclectic, and to see how it emerges. Yeah.
I have a question for Chris. Chris, will they all be joined together into one long video, or will it always be displayed as our own individual 58 seconds?
I believe there will be a kind of long, everybody's video cut version that will be made as well. Yeah.
And I think, and we have, I think is it till February that they're taking, isn't that the date that they're?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
End of February.
Okay. And
And
do you
then
have
there's a
any
live-
questions? Oh, go on.
Is there like a live presentation of this then at the end of February, or is it all online? Yeah, what's the big finale from this?
We have in the past with these partnerships with the Arts Council done some kind of community gathering to share the work artists have done. So we are hoping we'll have a community gathering with this one as well. We're not sure what that might look like and how soon we might get everything put together. Like once we get the submissions, then there'll be some time putting it all together. So it'll be a little later in the spring, but yes, we want to take it out to the community and share. This is a very unique and creative and interesting project. We're quite excited about it.
Yeah. And they've never done this before, so it's.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that you all came. And since I know who you all are, I know that you're very capable, more than capable, and of doing movement and very familiar with movement and dance. And some of you have been dancing all your lives, so this is very exciting.
Can I just ask a quick question? Where are we going to send it again? The video to?
You are going to upload it to Instagram at this point and tag Dance to the End of Love. And but if you don't use social media, then you would put it in a Dropbox, and I guess we would have it sent. Have we decided where that would get sent?
Stephen needs to answer that one.
Stephen, are you still here on the?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely be providing the link to where to upload that on to Dropbox. We haven't done that yet.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I wanted to thank Celeste for her workshop, her creativity, her inspiration. As always, an inspirational educator. So thank you so much for your work with us tonight. It was really fun.
You're very welcome.
I'd like to thank the participants for being here and hope that some of you will certainly participate in this project. It'd be great to see your work. Want to thank Stephen and Chris for their support and their work as well. And just a reminder, we have a workshop next week with Chris where you can learn all the finer points of producing a video. So thank you on behalf of New West Hospice, the Arts Council of New Westminster, and the New Media Gallery. And Celeste and